I want to save my soul.
Now we arrived at Fujifilm stand. Tell me, what do you have here? What's the newest? What's the baddest on your shelf?
So we've got on display, as well as our X series and GFX cameras, the latest GFX camera, the GFX100 II. This is our 102 megapixel behemoth, which is great for stills and video. As we can see, it's also got one rigged up from a video perspective, but this is the all singing, all dancing latest iteration of our GFX system.
Please sell it to me. What do I get if I sell all my cameras, I presume, and get this? What's better about this camera than let's say Nikon, Canon, whatever else?
The first thing, we all know that cameras are all about the sensor, right? So the first thing you point out is the larger GFX sensor, which is 1.7 times bigger
barely fits in the room
than a 35mm sensor. And what you're getting with that is you're getting creamier bokeh, you're getting better light gathering ability, you're getting those classic Fujifilm colors. Fujifilm has been around for 90 years and we know how color, we know how photography should look. So all that engineering, all that know-how is into this camera. But historically, medium format was always really slow and really had to methodical and had to think about it.
Well, it's big, isn't it?
It's big, yeah. You are physically moving larger bits of glass.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit slower. But the thing about the 100 II is with the latest sensor, latest processor, it's so much quicker to focus, it's so much better at tracking moving subjects for portraits, for weddings, for all types of activities that you wouldn't traditionally have put a medium format camera in. The GFX100 II holds its own with anything else.
Give me the numbers.
So, 102 megapixels, right? Viewfinder, detachable. I haven't broken it. That actually removes, and we can actually tilt the viewfinder if necessary. That is 9.44 million dots, and that will give you a 1:100% magnification with a 63mm. We're talking 8 frames a second. We're talking the ability to shoot 4K 60p, even 8K. You've got your CF Express Type B.
2 cards, yeah?
2 cards, of course. We can put a vertical grip on it. Yeah, it is all singing, all dancing.
What's the difference between photos from this camera and photos from a similar, let's say, range of cameras to compare with?
So GFX100, we've had a GFX100 megapixel sensor since 2019, but we've just obviously been slowly tweaking and evolving the technology. The image quality out of this, you get better dynamic range, better color accuracy, all the things that you'd expect from those evolutionary things. Obviously, if you've got like huge landscapes and things like that, the 100S is still a stunning camera, but when things get up, start moving, or you want to be able to track things, the 100 II comes into its own.
Yeah, and with the megapixels, you can zoom in so much.
Zoom in, you can crop, you retain all that detail, the color, the dynamic range, all the things that people aspire to when they first get into photography, and then they get seduced by sort of like frames per second or what have you. You don't need to have any compromises with the 100 II.
So who is it for? Who would benefit the most from this camera? What type of photographer?
So traditionally we would have just said for like studio landscape photographers for GFX, but with the 100 II, the evolution of the autofocus system, you're obviously going to expand to like more weddings, obviously studios, commercial, people who really obviously make money from it, but it's not so ridiculous that a really advanced enthusiast can't benefit from this. The menu system is no different to our X series, so if you're used to X-T5s and what have you, you can pick this up, use it, but it's aimed at the professional, so like who's making money from their portraits, from their landscapes, commercial shoots, and things like that.
So is there a step up from this camera in your range, or this is the top of range?
Top of the range, so everything else is sort of like below this, yeah. But this was launched in September time, and it's been back ordered since then. So it's the first time that we've been at a trade show and been able to show people firsthand the camera.
So if I ordered today, when would I get it?
Probably take you about a week, 10 days.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. So we're slowly catching up, but up until now we haven't been at a show to show people all the ins and outs of it.
And is this the same mount as any other Fujifilm camera, or is it different?
So the GFX mount,
obviously it's bigger. So.
Yeah, it's obviously bigger. So we sort of like launched this in January. Well, it would have been photo cleaner, but it would have been January 2017 is when we came out with our first GFX.
Okay.
And now we've got about 15 lenses, from tilt shift to dedicated portrait lenses, all sorts of lenses available, and the range is constantly expanding. We announced in September that we'll bring out a 500mm telephoto lens, and we're also working on a more dedicated cine lens that will be up to speed with the video functionality.
If I was switching from any other brand and I wanted to get something of similar quality, obviously not as good as this, is there anything just below this range?
So the GFX100 is sort of like uses the previous generation's processor, so it's slightly slower when it comes to focusing and tracking and things like that, but the image quality is still better than anything else out there. So investing in the GFX system is a life choice, I suppose, because you are much bigger files, so the workflow changes and what have you, but commercially you are able to, as you say, crop, zoom in, get a lot more detail out. So for portraits, and that just pushing your work that little bit further is really make the most of it.
So what glass would you recommend with this camera? What will work best with it?
Wow, so my favorite lens right now is the new 55mm that we announced, 55mm 1.7.
Yeah.
The other one,
is this the one?
This is the 80mm, this is the 55. So look very, very similar, but really fast, give a really creamy, really rich look out of the camera. Great colors, obviously, in contrast as you'd
very
expect.
Similar size.
Very similar size, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, so we've got like a premium range of lenses, so the 55, the 80, the 110, definitely that's the sweet spot in terms of portraiture. But we do, as I said, we do a tilt shift lens if you want to do stuff for architectural or interiors. And then we've got other tilt shift lenses for product and stuff like that. We've pretty much got something for everyone right now.
Brilliant. So if I was to get a camera right now, what would you say I should get if I wanted like full setup? So I want to shoot some weddings, I want to shoot some portraits, I want to try everything in photography. What lenses should I take right now? I
think probably the one go-to lens that gives everybody access to a bit of everything is the 45 to 100. Okay. It gives you an equivalent zoom range of about 35 to 80. So that sort of like gets you going. And then you would specialize. If you were a landscape photographer, you'd go 20 to 35. If you were sort of like a product photographer, you'd get the 120 or the 110 macro. If you wanted something a little bit more for portraiture, you get something like the 110. So, but the 45 to 100 is probably the stable lens that covers everything, and it still gets you into the GFX system. And then you start specializing in terms of the prime lenses available.
Absolutely, loads of flexibility, and
loads
then
of flexibility.
You can pick from there.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. See ya.
Czekaj, zanim odejdziesz, mam Ci coś bardzo ważnego do powiedzenia. To sprawa życia i śmierci i zmieni wszystko na zawsze. No masz. Uciekło. Pewnie nie było ważne. Jak już tu jesteś, dziękuję, że udało Ci się dotrwać do końca filmu. Jeśli sprawi Ci to przyjemność, zrób to, o co bez przerwy proszą youtuberzy. Dzwonki, łapki i inne rzeczy, które pomogą kanałowi. Jeśli chcesz więcej tego typu treści, zapisz się do mojego newslettera. Mimo Waszych ciągłych próśb, niestety nagich fotek tam nie rozsyłam, ale dowiesz się o nowościach, dostaniesz kody promocyjne na sprzęt fotograficzny oraz dowiesz się o wartych uwagi spotkaniach i wydarzeniach. Wszystkie niepublikowane treści znajdziesz na Patronie oraz w sekcji dla członków kanału. Linki masz w opisie i na ekranie. Dołącz też do naszego forum, grupy na Facebooku i oczywiście serwera Discord. Jeśli masz na to ochotę, zaglądnij na kanał mojej żony, gdzie ja trzymam kamerę, a ona wykonuje całą pracę. Pamiętam już, co miałem Ci powiedzieć. Cokolwiek się stanie, nie dotykaj